Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Friday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk all things Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and today's report includes the Pittsburgh Steelers ought to be embarrassed after hearing what this ex-NFL player said. This former Steelers general manager is getting back into football. 2 Pittsburgh Penguins have been named captains for the Four Nations face-off, and more. As always, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the first news story of the day. The Pittsburgh Steelers ought to be embarrassed after hearing what this ex-NFL player said. Things are pretty bad right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and as the offseason is just beginning, it just keeps getting worse. The franchise is starting to be looked at more as a laughingstock. Those with power inside the organization refuse to make substantial change, and now both of those statements have been confirmed as true by this ex-NFL player. Wednesday night on his podcast, Games with Names, former NFL and New England Patriots wide receiver Julian Edelman talked about Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin and how easy it was playing against his defense, saying, "You knew exactly what they were doing every time, and they still do what they do. They still do the same gosh darn stuff that when I was playing Tomlin's defense. I'm like, we still have linebackers covering the 3 slot. Every time we played the Steelers, I'd have at least 9 catches. You would think that they would change it. No, but they do what they do." Alright, if you're a Steelers fan and hearing that didn't fire you up or make your skin crawl, then I don't know what will. One of the best players from one of the Steelers' most hated rivals this century just talked about how easy it was to beat this supposed Hall of Fame head coach's defense. This is as big of an indictment as you will ever hear on Mike Tomlin as an NFL head coach. Soon to be 19 years at the helm of this historic organization, and the biggest preacher of "we're not going to do the same thing and expect a different result" has been shown to the world as the biggest hypocrite of all time. He's outdated, he's mediocre, and he's arrogant. No wonder the Steelers haven't won a playoff game in nearly a decade. It's because every single team knows exactly what the defense is going to do. Also, no wonder Tomlin has such a good record against rookie quarterbacks, because they are the only quarterbacks in the league who haven't seen that defense yet. The defense, no matter how many stars you put on it, will continue to get exposed over and over again without any evolution. The worst part about this is that no one inside the Steelers building is holding him accountable for this clear and repeated malpractice. There is no pressure from Art Rooney II, Omar Khan, or anyone else with a say in how this organization operates. The standard is the standard should officially be changed to the standard is stagnation. In reality, what Edelman said won't mean a damn thing. We'll all continue to sit through this offseason that will get our hopes up again, but we must always remember that this metaphorical house is built on sand, and it's just a matter of time, like every season, before it washes away. Grab a blanket, everyone. This dark age of Steelers football is going to be long and cold. These Pittsburgh Steelers participate in the first night of the NFL Pro Bowl games. Last night was night 1 of the NFL Pro Bowl games, and even though the event has become a complete joke, I guess I'll still cover what the Pittsburgh Steelers players did. 6 of the 7 Steelers representees were in action, with quarterback Russell Wilson doing the Passing the Test event, safety Minkah Fitzpatrick being a part of the relay race, defensive tackle Cam Hayward and special teamer Miles Killebrew doing a game show segment called Helmet Harmony, and left guard Isaac Seumalo and kicker Chris Boswell playing dodgeball. Starting with Wilson in the Passing the Test event, Russ looked pretty good, hitting all the targets, and to be honest, I think he got screwed hitting that 5-point target a handful of times before it counted. Nonetheless, Wilson scored an AFC QB high 31 points, more than Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow with 27, and New England Patriots quarterback Drake May with 22. Other than that, the other events that had Steelers in them weren't really all that challenging. Fitzpatrick's team won the relay race, Hayward and Killebrew got 2 out of 3 questions on how well they know each other correct, and Seumalo and Boswell didn't do much of anything in the dodgeball game. My god, some of these things last night were hard to watch. Anyways, the Pro Bowl games will continue on Sunday at 3 p.m. with 3 events scheduled. Boswell will be in the great football race, whatever the hell that is. Hayward and Seumalo will try to lead the AFC to victory in a tug of war, and Wilson, Fitzpatrick, Killebrew, and middle linebacker Patrick Queen will all play in the main event flag football game. Please let Sunday's events be at least a little bit more entertaining. This former Pittsburgh Steelers general manager is getting back into football. Back in 2021, Pittsburgh Steelers general manager Kevin Colbert stepped down from his position as GM and seemingly retired from football. Notice how I used the word seemingly in that sentence. Yesterday, it was reported that Colbert is getting back into football life, but not in the way or place that you would think. According to ESPN college football insider Pete Thamel, Colbert will be working with Colorado State's football program as a consultant. Thamel explained that Colbert will be helping Colorado State's head coach Jay Norvell and their player personnel department in building a football front office. By the sounds of this, I believe that it's something Colbert isn't going to be too heavily invested in, but I have to ask, if he was willing to come out of retirement to help a smaller college program in Colorado State, then why didn't the Steelers at least give him a call? I mean, all we've been talking about so far this offseason is the Steelers needing to add to the organization. Colbert could have been brought in some sort of role to help the Steelers figure out why they can't get over the hump in playoffs. Nonetheless, I wish the former Steelers GM the best of luck in whatever he's doing out at Colorado State. And Kevin, when you get back, why don't you stop by the Steelers facility and pay Art Rooney II and Mike Tomlin a visit? They need some harsh consulting from you, and the best part, you can't get fired. 3 Pittsburgh Pirates make this final top 100 prospects list. Within the past week, top 100 MLB prospect rankings have been released by MLB Pipeline and ESPN. 4 Pirates made each of those 2 rankings, and now this morning we found out which Pirates made the final top 100 prospects list, this one from Baseball America. In Baseball America's top 100 prospects list, the Pirates this time around only had 3 players ranked. Those 3 players were right-handed pitcher Bubba Chandler at number 7, shortstop Connor Griffin at number 57, and right-handed pitcher Thomas Harrington at number 74. This is the highest that Chandler and Harrington have been on any of the 3 lists, and the second highest Griffin has been. Good news for the Bucs is that they have 5 players on at least 2 of the 3 top 100 rankings, making the organization eligible for PPI. PPI, or Player Promotion Incentives, is an initiative by the MLB's collective bargaining agreement that rewards teams for carrying top prospects on their opening day rosters and keeping them in the majors for the entire season. The most likely Pirate prospect who can make the Major League roster out of spring training would be Chandler, and should he win the National League Rookie of the Year or finish top 3 in NL Cy Young Award voting, the Pirates will receive a draft pick after the first round. Regardless of this PPI stuff, the Bucs have some bright prospects in their farm system, even though it was ranked worse than the NL Central by ESPN today. I mean, seriously, after 3 years of sucking, we still have the worst farm system in the division? Charrington, Nutting, Shelton, thanks for ruining the rebuild. In other news, the organization finalized its affiliates' coaching staffs this morning, so let's hope that these prospects can be developed quickly and, more importantly, properly. 2 Pittsburgh Penguins have been named captains for the Four Nations face-off. In less than 2 weeks, the NHL season will pause for 12 days as players representing the countries of Canada, Sweden, Finland, and the United States will play in the Four Nations face-off. The schedule for this 2026 Winter Olympics warm-up tournament is set, rosters for all 4 countries are finalized, and all that was left for these teams to do was to select who will be leading them on the ice. Last night, all 4 nations named their captains, and the 2 Pittsburgh Penguins representatives in this tournament received a captaincy title from their country. Personally, 15 years after he led his native land's team to a gold medal in the 2010 Winter Olympics, Penguins captain Sidney Crosby is once again captain for Team Canada. Even though this was the only correct choice that Canada could have made, there was still a little bit of hesitancy that Crosby would get to see again, playing alongside some other generational superstars. Although it will pain me to root against him once the tournament begins, I couldn't be happier to see that at 37 years old, Sid the Kid is still Captain Canada. Behind him as alternates are forward Connor McDavid from the Edmonton Oilers and defenseman Cale Makar from the Colorado Avalanche. However, Crosby isn't the only Penguin to be getting a patch put on his jersey, as once again defenseman Erik Karlsson has been named an alternate captain for Team Sweden. This will be Karlsson's 5th time representing his country in some sort of international tournament, and he will no doubt be a leader on what is the most stacked defense core among the 4 nations. EK65 slots in as an alternate behind Sweden captain and defenseman Victor Hedman from the Tampa Bay Lightning, and alongside defenseman Matthias Ekholm from the Edmonton Oilers, and forward William Nylander from the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Four Nations face-off, which will be the first best-on-best hockey tournament played since the World Cup of Hockey in 2016, will kick off with these 2 teams squaring off on February 12th, and man, my excitement for this thing just keeps on getting higher and higher as the days roll on. And finally, a Pittsburgh Penguins legend receives a touching send-off in his hometown. Today's final segment isn't necessarily about a current Pittsburgh Penguin, but about a Penguins legend who is continuing his farewell tour. Last night, former Penguins goalie and three-time Stanley Cup champion Marc-Andre Fleury played for the final time in his hometown of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Fleury led the Minnesota Wild with a 19-save shutout performance in a 4-0 victory and made history, becoming the first goalie in NHL history to record a shutout as a teenager and as a 40-year-old. That was also his 76th career shutout, moving him into the top 10 all-time for shutouts, tying him with Ed Belfour and Tony Esposito. Like he did here in Pittsburgh 3 months ago, Flower stayed on the ice to salute his hometown fans and be shown respect from the Canadiens team. Stuff like this never gets old for me, especially when it's for a genuine human being like Fleury. I'm sure this won't be the last time I'm saying this, but congratulations to Marc-Andre Fleury as you continue to wrap up your Hall of Fame career. Thank you for all you did, not just for the Penguins organization and the city of Pittsburgh, but for the game of hockey as a whole. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up a Friday edition of the Steel City Sports Report. Again, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys back here on Monday with some more Pittsburgh sports news.